for having me.
All right. All right. So, Jamel, without giving too much away, what can audiences expect from these new episodes of The Upshaws, particularly with your character, Bernard Jr.?
Well, as you know, part one, Bernard was struggling to come out, and then he did. And part two, you got to see him live his life a little bit more, his full life. Part three, I feel like we get a deeper dive into who he is as a father. Um, just understanding now that there's no manual, like he came out and he's still trying to figure out really how to be his full self. He's realizing that it's still a journey. So different things come up, and I think a lot of things will spark a lot of conversation. Without giving spoilers away. But yeah, I think that he's understanding how to navigate in this space in the best way possible. But it's a bunch of bumps in the road, and he's realizing there's a lot of things that he still has yet to understand, even when it comes down to um, his sexuality, when it comes down to his dad and that relationship, his family. So I think it's just a bunch of him really figuring it out and realizing there's no manual to life. Just like in real life, there's no manual to this. You
Yeah.
kind of wing it and then you see what sticks. So I think Bernard is no exception to that.
For sure. Great. Well, why did you want to be involved with this series?
Um, for one, it was Netflix. It was Water Site. It had an amazing cast. Like I think as an actor, when you get an audition for a role that is on Netflix, that is created by Wanda Sykes and Regina Hicks, that stars Mike Epps, Kim Fields, Paige Kennedy. Obviously you want to do it. But I did think that the role would be impactful. And
Yeah.
I can't say in the beginning that I thought like automatically I was going to get it. I think those feelings came later once I realized what type of character it was and what was required of me.
Mhm.
So I think initially I just felt like it was going to be a really funny show.
Yeah.
Wanda Sykes and Mike Epps, like, come on. So
Mhm.
that was my initial thing. Now things have shifted a bit, and I'm realizing the impact of the role.
Yeah. hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, great, great. Yeah, and you said that Bernard Jr. coming out as gay to his mom was one of your favorite scenes. Why is that?
I think because it was, I think too, in the Black community especially, I mean, it is really taught in a way you could be anything but gay,
Yeah.
And so like I think that's why it is so hard for a lot of Black men to come out, because it's ingrained in us, it's a lot of things you could do, but that's just not one of them. And I think to see him come out to his mom and for her to embrace him and not look at him any different, or to fully accept him in that moment, not say, well, let me take a beat, let me whatever. She just was like, I know and I get it. And even though she might have had her reservations before he told her, in that moment, she made him feel seen. She made him feel heard. Um, and I just think that was such a beautiful moment. There was no, I'm kicking you out of the house. There was no trauma. I think most of it was in Bernard's head, which is what took him so long to even tell his mom, is because he thought the reaction was going to be the absolute worst, and it ended up being a beautiful thing. And I think it's a testament to, there's two different outcomes, and we don't have to focus so much on the negative, because just as much as it could be a negative, it could also be a positive. And
Yeah.
he ended up having a beautiful moment with his mom, and was able to start to live his full, show up as his full self in life.
Yeah. For sure. So you believe Bernard Jr. is an inspiration to many?
I hope so. I think I do think that it changes a lot of things. Like I don't remember seeing a Black gay man on this type of platform. Not a comedy, not a multi-cam sitcom family
Mhm.
um, dynamic. I've never seen that. So I'm sure it helps a lot of people feel seen. And from just Twitter and my DMs, so many people have come to me and just thanked me for helping them on their journey, and
Yeah.
again, helping them to feel seen, and having and showing such great representation. Because I do feel like not all representation is great,
Mhm.
but I do feel like we show so many sides of Bernard. We not only show that he's gay, but we also show he's a Black gay father, he's a Black gay son, he's a Black gay nephew, and like his his sexuality doesn't define him. And I think that's an important part of our show that we showcase that I've never seen before, because normally it's you're gay and then that's all it's about, is that you're gay, and
Yeah.
that's fine, but there's more to the
There's
Black
more to that. Yeah,
community.
for
So I
sure.
love that we get to showcase that.
Great.
Hopefully I am an inspiration to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And now the Upshaws was renewed for season 3. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what direction would you like to see Bernard's storyline go in?
I would just like to see them dive a little bit deeper into just his family and his partner. Whatever partner he gets. Because typically in a heterosexual relationship, you meet a guy, you meet a girl, you bring them home to your parents, and it's that whole thing. Maybe that one asks the other to marry. Like, I just want to see the family and whoever Bernard's partner is kind of coexist and see what that looks like. Because I think that is a story worth telling for sure.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
that could be a little tricky too,
Mhm.
and obviously for our show, we always find hilarity in everyday life anyway. So
Mhm.
I feel like it's a bunch of comedy moments we can pull from that. It's a bunch of drama. Because as funny as our show is, we definitely still talk about real things. And I think that's what makes us such a relatable show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was kind of like my next question. Like overall, what do you ultimately hope audiences take away from the Upshaws?
That my first season on this show, because I had never done a comedy, I had never done a sitcom, but I was like, man, it's so funny how we talk about these real things and then we laugh. And so like I laugh all day at work, and we talk about like really thought-provoking things. Like it's a real, we talk about stuff,
Yeah,
and it just made me realize you can really bring light to any situation. Like there's always room for laughter, and I kind of started living my life like that. Like there's nothing really that serious, unless you make it that serious, and we make a conscious choice to make a joke about it. It
yeah,
doesn't change what the thing is, but you feel better in that moment, and I think it just it's like to reach for the better feeling thought is always my go-to anyway. So it's just like it gives you a break. So I hope that it gives people a break from everyday life, because
mhm.
life can be a lot. We live in America.
Yeah, yeah. It's stressful these days.
Yeah,
Yes, awesome. Well, Jermelle, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure
thank
talking with you.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.
You too.
Thanks, Denny. Bye.
Thanks, Madison.